Well, we tried to warn them that it wasn't going to work. In fact, even their own friendly legal analysts on CNN were telling them that there was absolutely no chance that this was going to work. And it's not exactly like they were mincing their words.
Koenig is here. I mean, does this lawsuit have any chance of doing anything?
No, I don't think so. What they're asking, the state of Minnesota is asking a federal judge to throw ICE out of the state and to prohibit ICE from enforcing federal law in the state. There's simply no precedent for that. These lawsuits, Illinois and Minnesota both filed similar lawsuits, have no precedent cited in there. To do that would violate the Supremacy Clause, which says the states cannot block the feds from doing their federal duties. The one thing that Minnesota might get out of this, depending on the judge could want a hearing and could ask ICE some of the questions you just asked Senator Klobuchar about training and protocols. But they're not going to win, but they might get some information.
And in terms of the investigation by state officials, I mean, unless there's cooperation from the federal authorities, what kind of investigation can you actually do?
Yeah, the senator's right. The worst case scenario is if you have two separate parallel investigations, states here and feds here. I mean, there's only one piece of the forensics, right? There's only one car here. That's crucial. There's only one set of ballistics and shell casings. Different witnesses are going to talk to different sides. It's a disaster. The way this needs to be done is collaboratively together.
Is this unprecedented to have the state trying to investigate an action that's been taken by federal officials and no cooperation?
So it's definitely suboptimal. It's a terrible way to do it. The question here, and I think Senator Klobuchar was alluding to this, if the state decides to bring state-level criminal charge against this ICE agency, there's been misinformation, right? Kristi Noem said there's no jurisdiction.
Right. Does the state do they have jurisdiction?
So they can charge. There's nothing preventing the state from charging. However, if they did charge the federal agent with state-level crimes, there would be a serious argument that the federal agent would make. First, he would ask to remove the case over to federal court. We've seen that done before. And then he would claim immunity. But he does not have absolute immunity, as J.D. Vance has said. He would have qualified immunity. He'd have to show that he was acting within the scope of his job. And I think the counter-argument would be what he did there exceeded the bounds of what he was supposed to do as an ICE agent. So the bottom line is, yes, the state can theoretically bring charges, but they would have legal hurdles once they did that.
Not even a maybe, just no, I don't think so. Absolutely no freaking way. But of course, the Democrats didn't heed the warning, and now here we are. We got the final verdict. A federal judge in Minnesota has refused to block President Trump's deployment of DHS agents to the states for immigration enforcement ops. Lawsuit by Minneapolis AG and cities challenging Operation Metro Surge denied immediate halt. More details expected soon. And by the way, this ruling came from an Obama judge. So basically exactly what we've been saying. Donald Trump's not doing anything wrong. There's nothing unconstitutional here. The only people engaging in unconstitutional behavior are these idiotic Democrats who refuse to respect the Supremacy Clause. Federal law is the law of the land. In other words, Democrats are violating the law, they're violating the Constitution, and all of it to protect criminal aliens. You know, honestly, at this point, I don't know why Tim Walz and Jacob Fry aren't rotting in federal prison cells.